We are ready and waiting for you now. If it's a fight that you dare see, we've acquired our strength through pain. No more are we pathetic and weak. You are the reason why we claim that we've all become this way. And I regret this prison that I've created for myself.
First of all, thank you for pretty much discussing your entire musical journey. To me, with especially the events that have occurred like the last 15 months with the pandemic, we need music again. I was listening to the Hoya podcast, the Smoking Word podcast the day before. He had Stickman from Fury of 5 on the show. They made a good point. They said humans are meant to be social creatures, not socially distant. With everything that's happened with COVID-19, when I heard about what happened at Tompkins Square Park with the concert that pretty much had like every walk of life together for a hardcore show, it just goes to show you the importance that music and live shows and interaction, the important role that it plays in people's lives.
Yeah, if you look at that, everybody's cooped up in the house and everybody's at each other's throats about skin color, religion, and politics, not even counting music. I've had people that I thought were friends talk shit to me or just lash out over nothing, but then the show at the park, I didn't attend the show. And
I didn't either.
I'm not saying anything negative. The grown people, if they want to go to a show, let them go to a show. If they want to stay home, let them stay home. If some people want to be careful thinking that they're going to be safe wearing a mask, let them wear a mask. If other people don't want to wear a mask, that's their prerogative. That's fine. I don't care either way.
I'm with you 100%.
Fantastic turnout at the show. The turnout would have been great no matter what, but because of the pandemic, I think maybe people were more eager to get out and, get into the mix of things, the pit and diving and watching live music again. The thing is, all right, the show is a great success. However, there were so many people that is like, how could they say bad things about the show? And then there are people say, how could they say good things about having a show? No matter what you do, there's going to be somebody is going to say something. You're going to get feedback, whether it's positive or negative. There's going to be feedback. People are acting surprised that people complained about the show. And then people are acting surprised that people were all for the show. Whatever political parties you follow, if you wore, let's say a Trump hat, there's going to be people saying, take that fucking thing off. And then there's going to be people saying, oh, I like you, go Trump or whatever. So don't expect not to hear something. Expect to hear something, whether it's good or bad, you're going to hear something. There are other people that, the day after, nobody got sick, but it doesn't work that way. It takes time to, get in your system, and you could also bring it home to family. But whether you get sick or you don't get sick, you went to the show, you enjoyed the show, and I'm sure it was, a great day. I've been to shows there before, and the turnouts are amazing. They do a great job, and it's nice to see the bands playing again. It's just that too many people have to throw negativity at each other, and it's just stop already. People put on a show. It was a great turnout and great response from the crowd. But there's always got to be somebody to hate on something. There's always got to be somebody to go against whatever you do. So, there's no surprise that there was all this commotion around the show.
It's ridiculous. What I really despised about the negativity towards it were a lot of the bullshit that they were trying to spread about it. They practically called it like a white power thing. And I'm just like, first of all, did people forget that Freddie from Madball is half Cuban? What's white power about that?
Boy is Latin. People are stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it sickens me that they're ruining something that was meant to be all about fun, all about the spirit of community. And because it didn't speak to their narrative that they're trying to push, they're trying to ruin it for everybody else and say, oh, they're problematic just because they don't fit their fucking narrative. I hate that.
Like I said, I wasn't at the show, but if you look at the crowd and you look at the pictures, like you said, there's all kinds of people there, different colors, I'm sure different religions, I'm sure different political views, and they all got together to enjoy a concert. I mean, whether or not people feel that they should have been at that concert in the first place, hey, think what you want. I don't take sides with anything. I just know what I feel, and I'm not going to sit here and preach whether I say, well, these guys shouldn't have had masks off and they were all jumping all over each other. Or if I say, oh, well, the show was great, people need to get out or whatever. No matter what my opinion is, there's going to be somebody that's going to disagree, and there's going to be some keyboard commandos that fucking want to talk about shit they have no clue about.
Twitterati Karens, as I call them.
Yeah, I just call them assholes.
That's good enough for me too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because, like I said, the people we were friends with I don't know if they were cooped up too long or they just showed their true colors or whatever. You're friends with people a long time, and then all of a sudden because they think you disagree with them on something.
It shouldn't even be about that. I mean, it's like, I look at it this way. I have friends where I agree with them on certain things. I have friends where I disagree with them on most things. But the one thing I do agree on is they should have their right to live the way they want, as long as they're not hurting themselves or me or anyone else in the process. And I will never begrudge them their right to live the way that they want. To me, that's the way I think it should be. And, I make it a point on my podcast, and I make it a point with anything that I do. I say no politics. I'm not here to pander. I'm not here to promote. I'm only here to promote music. I'm here to promote musicians. I'm here to bring up discussion and talk amongst people that I respect, people that I want to know more about, people that I think that others should know more about, people that I think bring value to the art world. And that's the only reason why I do what I do. You'll never see me support a political candidate. You'll never
look at Bad Wolves.
Tommy Vext.
Tommy Vext, I know a long time. And I also know Doc Coyle for a long time. And I don't know the story, none of my business, but it seems as though they had different political views. And I don't care what Tommy says. I don't care what Doc says. They're still my friends. How
they treat you should be indicative of if you like them or not. Yeah. That's what I think.
And it caused, that much friction in the band or whatever. Whatever happened. I don't know, but like I said, if I'm not going to say I agree with Tommy, and I'm not going to say I agree with Doc. All I'm saying is that the one thing I could agree on, they're both my friends. So I don't care. Like, I'm not going to say, hey, Tommy, you hear that shit Doc said? Or hey, Doc, you hear that shit Tommy said? Not my style, none of my business. I don't care.
Yeah. You leave them to handle their own beef by themselves, and you stay out of it. I think that's very respectable.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they feel toward each other. I don't. But the understanding I had from a vague vantage point was that there was a political disagreement between members and caused whatever it caused. But like I said, idiots that I know would immediately, all the ones who supported Tommy's views would all start talking shit about Doc, and vice versa. Those are the ignorant people.
Shouldn't even be about that.
It's sad. It really is sad that skin color, religion, and politics are these never-ending debates where people will constantly talk about stuff that they don't even research half the time.
You're right. They kind of believe what they read or hear on the news, and they don't go into looking down the rabbit hole for themselves.
Yeah, and it's not the point of who you support politically or what color your skin is or who you pray to. It all boils down to what you have inside your head. If you're an idiot, you're an idiot no matter what color you are, where you're from, who you support, and what you do.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And everybody is, eager to talk shit on a computer and hide behind their phones. And that's one reason I'm like fed up with going to shows. Not that I'm not going to go to any shows, but I'm saying you're always wondering now, how are people going to get along that haven't seen each other in a year and a half and talked shit about each other all the time? And now they're going to be face to face. We'll see who has the big mouth and who acts like, oh, hey, like nothing happened and everything like that, Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Well, I learned a long time ago just to cut the negativity out. If I run into anyone that I've ever had issue with in the past, I've let it go. I mean, I'm at a point in my life right now where my only concern is I come home from work every day, make sure I have my quality time with my wife and my daughter, get to play with my dog. I get my guitar time, and I get to do this. And I'm not in a band at the moment. That's by choice, because I ended up catching COVID at my last band practice that I was ever at. And that was traumatizing for me, because I ended up passing it on to my wife and daughter. My wife ended up getting pneumonia from it, almost lost her. Even with what happened, I would still like to believe that people will do the right thing for themselves and others. At least I would like to believe that. Unfortunately, sometimes human behavior dictates the opposite. But at the same token, though, when that happened, it changed my perspective about a lot. And I respect the fact that a lot of people look at music as their livelihood. For me, it's a labor of love. Talking about it is a labor of love. Being able to promote good music and talented and kind musicians that I believe deserve the spotlight is a labor of love. The perspective that it put for me is that I'm happier doing what I'm doing now. Like just having this conversation with you, you know? Like,
Yeah.
And if I ever do decide that I want to return to the stage, I'll decide when that time is right. But for now, with everything that happened, my focus is just on making sure that my family's okay, making sure that I have this platform, you know, to promote guys like you, guys like Damiano Christian, who I had on the show a couple of weeks ago. And I'm not in the business of shit talking. Like, I will only talk about stuff that I like on the show. So if I don't like it, yeah, maybe I'll throw a joke in here, and there between then. But I'm not in the business of slandering, unless it's Sammy Hagar, because I can't fucking stand him. But then, you know, I'm sorry, Van Hagar, not my thing. But but you know, like and that's the only reason why I have this platform, is just to promote, you know, music and musicians, and just give them an area where they could come and talk about what they're doing and just disrupt the narrative. And when I say disrupt the narrative, I mean, you know, give people a chance to be exposed to things that live outside of the top 40 songs on their local radio stations.
Yeah, definitely. Because once people just start doing, especially if you're in lockdown in the pandemic or whatever, you don't have much variety in your life. So people start getting this tunnel vision and they can't see outside the box or anything like that. So
that's pretty much what happened. Yeah.
You know, some people just, you know, it's weird, you know, somebody for a long time and then they change, you know, and it's funny because it used to be, I bet I know who you voted for, block, delete, like stop. Like, you know, everything does not boil down to skin color, politics, and religion. And it shouldn't, you know, it divides people so much, and it's ridiculous. You know, there's good and bad in every walk of life.
Yeah,
you know,
the best way to grow from it is just to move forward and just be like, all right, let's just be cool with each other. That's what I think.
People don't want to do that. I don't understand it. It's ridiculous. What people should do is just, you know, if you're there for music, be like they did at the show here at Tompkins. What, 3,000 people went?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, all different colors, all different races, all different religions and views and everything. They all got together. No fights, as far as I know.
You know what? I
enjoyed the show.
I would love to have John Joseph on this show, because I could just give him the microphone for 2 hours and he won't stop talking. Yeah, I'm sure he'd have so much to say about it.
Yeah, you know, well, you know what it is? A guy like, let's say, John Joseph, he's in one of the most popular hardcore bands of all time.
Cro-Mags, yep.
Yeah, so there's always going to be a spotlight on him. Mm-hmm. And then when he speaks, there's always going to be people listening, because, first of all, he is very vocal and people are always interested in what he's going to say. You know, whether they agree or not, they want to see what he's going to, what his views are.
Yeah, count me as one of them. I mean, I was 6 years old when The Age of Quarrel came out, and I didn't, believe it or not, I discovered his 90s band, Both Worlds, before I even realized he was in the Cro-Mags. So when I discovered the Cro-Mags, it was around the time that I watched a New York hardcore documentary, and here he is being interviewed. And it doesn't say John Joseph Both Worlds, it says John Joseph Cro-Mags. Because I respect him as an artist and as an individual, I will take time out of my day to hear what he has to say, you know? And he's not one of these, like, you know, as he likes to call it, Mama Lukes who just, you know, talk out of the back of his ass. He knows what he's talking about, you know? He's well spoken, he's well read, you know, and he's well traveled. I mean, the man served our country. You know, he grew up. If anyone wants to say that they could have suffered from victimization, it was him, because he grew up in the foster care, you know, system, you know, in the 1970s in Rockaway. And, you know, but instead he turned everything into a positive. And, you know, I respect the hell out of him for that.
Yeah. And you know what? There's too many people nowadays running around saying that they were here, they were there, they did this, they did that, and they did nothing. You know what I mean? They just want to be, or how do you say, they want to be down, you know? And it's like, you know, you're going to be more liked by saying, oh no, I didn't, you know, I don't know, I didn't go there, or I didn't do this, I didn't do that, rather than coming up with some bullshit story to make yourself look cool in front of people. you know, like back in the day, if we got into fights, we knew who was a fighter and who wasn't a fighter. So if somebody got into a fight and a certain person or certain people walked away or ran away, you know, not happy about that, but you know from the beginning they're not fighters. They're not going to fight. But you get more mad at them if they go around and say, oh yeah, I was in there, I was hitting this guy, I did that, I did this. You know, if you're not a fighter, you're not a fighter. But don't lie about being a fighter, you know, because that'll get your ass kicked quicker, you know, than running away from a fight. Bullshitting about one. And it's the same thing with, you know, with the scene and everything. And people say, oh, this and that, you know, and you got one jerk off in particular. He don't come around no more. And I'd rather not say his name. Proclaims to be, oh, I'm Mr. Hardcore. I've been there. I've done that. I did this. I did that. And it's funny. It's like,
sorry, I was saying, I think I know who you're talking about, but I'm not going to mention his name either.
Oh, okay. And it's funny because then he's like, can you introduce me to Life of Agony? I'm like looking at him. Okay. And then the minute you introduce them, they're talking about, you remember this day, you remember that show, you remember this? And he's, oh, I was there for the riot at Palladium during the Agnostic Front show, or whoever was playing. I'm like, yeah, you were there plus 2,000 other people at the show. You know what I mean? That and $3 will get you on the bus. Who cares?
Oh my God.
You know?
I knew a guy like that.
Yeah, it's, you know, and you don't have to make believe you're somebody you're not.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's better to get brownie points for being honest than to lose credibility for being something you're not. Yeah,
you know, and nowadays it's ridiculous. It's like you hear shit that people talk and you're like, definitely, you know, and then the thing is with people today, if you call them out and you say, oh, this fucking jerk off didn't do this or this guy didn't do that,
they'll project it that you're the asshole.
Yeah. You know,
yeah,
but,
I'm just like, okay, what else you got? You know?
Exactly. That I've wrote that many times on like Facebook. I'd be like the offended starter kit, like, oh, I'm offended. People are stupid. I used to argue with people on social media. I used to go back and forth and write shit. And all it did was get me more aggravated. And all it did was feed into the attention that these people seek.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, my girl tells me, she's like, you know, she's like, that's not worth it. Don't say nothing to this one. That's not worth it. But, you know, I'm dying to say something. I'm tempted to say something. And she's right. She's like, it's not worth your time. And you know what? I don't do that no more. I don't do it no more. And I feel better like by not doing it. I don't engage these idiots who that's what they live for. They want to see you say something so they can get a witch hunt to go after you. And, you know, just, you know, and like the more like, everybody talks like about this fucking Rick to Life guy. You know, I don't know what.
I thought we weren't going to mention.
Oh no, this was a different guy I was talking about before.
Oh, that's the guy who I thought you were talking about. Okay.
No.
To provide some context, Rick to Life is the former lead singer of 25 to Life.
I don't know him personally. I don't know what transpired between him and the scene. I hear many different things from many different people. But the thing is, everybody says, oh, I want him to go away and this and that. Stop engaging him. And once, like if there's somebody yelling at you with a crowd and the whole crowd turns their back and ignores that person's going to walk away. You know what I mean? So somebody, like, you know, like I said, somebody like Rick that everybody says they hate, stop engaging him and he'll go away. And then, you know, either that or go kill him. You know what I'm saying?
No, and we don't condone murder on Music is Life podcast. Thank you.
Not murder, but the way people act, like go do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Or if not, then just stop. You know?
Yeah.
Because people feed off.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, people feed off of the attention they get, whether it's negative or positive. They feed off it.
Yeah, I used to give into that too myself. There were 2 occasions that I can remember. One time, a long time ago, I saw the band Shadows Fall when they came to the Wetlands with Dismember and Christian, and Cataclysm was supposed to be on that show, but Cataclysm, unfortunately, they were stuck in Canada, so they couldn't make it. Their record label, Century Media, told them that we were playing their album at the time, Of One Blood, in heavy rotation. So as a thank you, the guys gave me a Shadows Fall t-shirt, which I was beyond grateful for.
That's cool.
At the time, fast forward 3 years after I graduated from college and I left college radio, I still had the shirt. I wore it to work because I was working the overnight shift at Viacom. And there was this guy there. He was one of those guys who tried to overcompensate for his, insecurities by talking a lot of, bullshit. Mm-hmm. And he looks at my shirt and he's like, Shadows Fall. I know those guys. That's the kind of guy he was, where it's like, if you had a Limp Bizkit shirt, he would say he was boys with Fred Durst or something. So I said, oh, Joey, Marky, Dee Dee, Tommy, and CJ? He's like, yeah, CJ's a singer, right? I'm like, you douche. I just named all the Ramones, and he was none the wiser to it.
Yeah, people are idiots, and then there's so many people too that just like there's another certain person used to say, oh, I work with this band, I work with that band, I'm this guy's manager, I'm this and that, and it's like
sounds like John Lovitz from SNL. Yes, I know Meryl Streep.
Yeah, wish it was. At least John Lovitz is funny as hell.
Amen to that.
But people they don't realize that the more you bullshit, the more people are gonna talk shit about you, And I have a group text that we do every day, a few of my friends, and it's like, oh, they'll send, you see what this idiot posted, you see what that guy said, or whatever. Like, we wouldn't have this group text if people weren't fucking idiots. You know what I mean? Like, people are talking about this guy, people are talking about that guy. Yeah, well, if he didn't say this or he didn't say that, then he wouldn't have material to go against him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, just want to, you try and joke around, you try and laugh, you make the best of whatever times we're in.
Yes.
But people can't take jokes. Everybody's, when I was growing up, people bust your balls, you tell them to stop, they don't stop, you have a fight. And then
we grew up with the best comedic legends of our time. You had Richard Pryor, you had Paul Mooney, you had Red Fox, you had, so many great comedians. I would hate for them to try and succeed nowadays because they would get lambasted.
Yeah, you're a comedian, you're not allowed to talk about this, you're not allowed to say that, you're not allowed to talk about this or that. Then what do I thought art was freedom. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, it's like, what are we subjected to? Amy Schumer talking about how much she loves drowning in manspooge. Yeah, that's real funny.
Yeah, it's hardy fucking But everybody's too uptight nowadays. You can't you can't do anything without somebody getting offended. Listen to this. I'm actually in Facebook jail for another 15 days because I didn't even say anything that was out of the ordinary. My girl and her friend were commenting to each other on a post about, it had something to do with these two dudes from the Avengers that chicks like. I don't know their names, some actors, right?
Okay, which it could be any one of them, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. So they both agreed that he was good looking. Mm-hmm. And our friend said something like, I wish he'd come jump through my window or something like that. So my girl agreed on it. You're like, oh, yeah, that's cool or whatever. So I replied to her and I replied and I said, if he jumps through your window, I'll kick his ass, LOL. And I put like the fist emoji and like that looks like a little explosion thing.
Yeah.
I got 30 days for that, saying that I was
Christ.
And it was hate speech. You got to be kidding me, man.
Why has context become a lost art form? It saddens me.
I don't know. And that was quite amusing. But if it wasn't for, I like to look at stuff my friends post. I like to look at music my friends post or art or just funny pictures. If it wasn't for being a little bit entertaining, I would get off social media. And if it wasn't for music to share,